Alright, welcome back everybody. This is Baited Gaming back to you with another video. This is my name is Jesse.
And I am Jim.
We apologize for the sound issues we had on the last video. This time I think we have got the science, we crunched the numbers, and I think we're ready to go this time. Jim, check my math.
Yeah, I moved 15 inches closer to the mic.
I think
we are good.
I think
we are good to go.
So this video is the 5th in the series. We're going to go over dark monsters. We're going to go over the relevant 3 stars. I'm glad I have somebody with me this time, again, to go a little bit more back and forth. I feel like that helps the video, as opposed to just being my opinion. You have somebody else who has plenty of experience in the game to talk about some of these monsters. So, let's just get into it. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, first monster we're going to talk about is Helia. I feel like we're going to skip the unawakened situation. If you just look in, you'll know which one it is. This is Helia. Helia is really cool because of the brand on the 3rd skill and the defense break on the 3rd skill. I believe this goes down to 4 turns. I don't actually remember. But really good for Rift. Pretty much every Rift elemental besides Dark because it's the multi-hitter one. But a really good monster because of that 3rd skill is pretty insane.
Isn't she a multi-hitter?
I think it's only the 2nd one. The first one... Oh, sorry. It's the first one does 2 and the second one does 2.
Yeah.
And the 3rd one does 1. So
I mean, it's fine. It's not. It's obviously not ideal, but like she is a really good mon. She brings like a useful kit for the Rift Beast. You know, it's a lot rolled into one, which is how you want to attack the Rift Beasts. You want your mons to come in and do multiple things and do them all well, and she kind of fits that role.
You could build her speed crit damage attack crit damage attack. I probably build her attack crit damage attack with as many speed subs as I can get. You can either build her... I mean, so realistically for the elemental rift, you just want to build as much damage as possible because the turns are going to happen no matter what. And violent proccing actually, I believe, adds something to the bar.
It does, yeah.
So you could just build her swift or rage. Any of those work. Or just broken. Just get as much damage as you possibly can. Let's go to the next one. Mr. Crow. Damn, he looks badass. What's with those feet? What the? Alright, so Crow, cool monster. Definitely don't build him early game. I think the rune requirement on Crow is a little too high. I haven't built him yet. That's how far late game I think this monster is.
Yeah, he has a very high damage output for late game, but his rune requirements to do so are pretty high. I'm not at the point where I would even consider building him.
So it's like the same stuff. The first skill does the defense break. The second skill does team up like Roke. But the 3rd skill does 50% increased damage if they're under a harmful effect, which is a lot of damage. I think the modifier is very high. So there's another one where you want to get him as much crit damage as possible. You can build him... I would probably just build him attack crit damage attack. And you can either build him rage, fatal, or violent. Either way,
yeah,
that works.
I mean, I would probably say rage on him just because you are really trying to amplify the front end damage on his 3rd skill, and he's got a high enough base speed where I would probably just stick to attack crit damage attack and go just full on the crit damage.
Yeah. Another monster that's really good in Rift Beasts, just because that 3rd skill, you're always going to have a harmful effect. Plus, it brings the 1st skill defense break. Plus, it brings the team up. Probably good in all of them. And I've seen him used in OG Rift, but anything where you're manualing, so some PvP, he's actually pretty good in as well.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want him on the fire one just because he doesn't bring any multi-hit skill.
Yeah, well,
any AoE skill.
Yeah, but with team up, if you get lucky, you could bring the homie, the water homie, and still use the 1st skill. Team synergy. Next one is Mantura. Mantura is actually one of my favorite monsters. I love just the way that the serpents look, and I feel like they're all pretty good in some fashion. And he's another one. He deals damage based on his hit points, or increased damage based on max hit points. Plus, he brings a lot of debuffs. There's a monster I use in... Right now, I use him in TOA. He's part of every TOA auto team I have. And then I use them in. I have an auto. I call it my auto arena team.
Yeah.
Jim gets triggered because I don't really pay attention to arena that much. I just want to auto it all down. But the third skill does defense break and continuous damage. Second skill does slow, and they're all AOE, and there's no percent chance. So it's just like 100%, obviously minus accuracy and all that different stuff.
Yeah, Mantura is a really great mon. We differ on our builds a little bit, but that just shows the versatility of the monster in general when you can literally just have him built completely different ways. I think yours is...
I have mine speed, crit damage, hit point, and he's on despair.
Yeah, and mine is speed, hit point on despair, and nemesis, because I actually have him built for TOA, specifically TOA, and he is because I'm sure you guys know that there is a TOA team that you can utilize, which has a lot of free-to-play mons. The one that we use for most of our TOA stages that we are not manualing is Beretta, Spectra, Mav, one of the Taoists, which would be Woonhak or Gildong, and then a fifth member depending on what the stage requirements are. And those fifth members can be anywhere from Veramos, Thrain, Tessarion, Mantura. They all kind of fit the bill. Mantura has been my favorite of all of them. Yeah. Not only does he bring the defense break, which makes the stages go a little bit faster, obviously dots too, but his second skill is a speed break. So if for whatever reason your Spectra doesn't have enough accuracy, he kind of comes in there and just, puts the icing on the cake.
I'd love me some cake. Plus the first skill does the beneficial removal. So in some crazy scenario, he actually can help in that fashion. So Mantura, like we said, TOA actually is probably fine in Dragons. Probably fine in realistically, I feel like Mantura is good pretty much everywhere except Necro. But
yeah.
Next monster we're going to talk about is Varus. Boink. The Griffins are another monster I really, really enjoy. That's fun. So the reason why I started doing these videos or wanted to do these videos is just surely because when I first started, I was feeding monsters, and then like later I'd be like, ooh, wish I still had that guy. And as well as you just don't understand in the beginning what monsters to keep because of skill ups. I mean, I wish I would have known about Taoists in the beginning. Don't ever feed a Taoist, ever, because there's just too many skill ups you need. Like 3 or 4 of them are actually, the only one that's not good is the one you're feeding. So save all the fire Taoists. So that was a big reason why I wanted to do these videos, to kind of help out newer players. So Varus, the reason he's cool, he's good, he's usable is because the first skill, just stun. You crit, you stun. So same second skill as Bernard, and then he actually has a built-in vampire effect plus the increased damage. Me and Jim, I know neither one of us have built him yet, but he's one I'm going to build in the future. He just has a lot of versatility. I don't know if you've seen him used yet.
No, but I know that he was very popular on the China and Korea server on Guild War defense.
Clearly, if they're doing it, must be good. Must be good. Anywhere where you're manualing, that's I think where he's good. TOA hard. I mean, he's just a stun bot, and he defense and attack break, and definitely in PvP, I feel like he'd be fine. Next one we'll go over is Mr. Jultan. Never built him early. Realistically, I feel like he used to be really good. He's probably still fine, but I don't know. The meta, I feel like, doesn't really work for him. He's really good as a dark tank. Like, if you know that their monsters are going to be attacking him, and you for 100% certain, he's obviously really good because he reflects, or he doesn't reflect. He does 12% of his max hit point and defense breaks when he attacks. He's just when he gets crit, right? Yeah, when you're attacked with a crit. So if you know that everything's gonna be attacking him, he could just eat people himself without actually doing anything. You could build him pretty much anyway, as long as he has as much or as many hit points as you could possibly give him. That's pretty much where you're looking at.
Yeah, standard build on him is triple revenge. You just want it because you want him to get hit, so you want to amplify his usefulness. If they're hitting him, he's hitting back. He's defense breaking. That's what he's built to do.
He looks so aggressive.
all the werewolves do.
He needs to chill. Yeah, until you get him the cowboy transmog, then they just look like they're chilling. Mostly used in PvP, and that's pretty much it for Jultan. The next monster we'll go over. This is Jamie. There's a few videos put out for Jamie just because people used him in dragon speed runs. He easily can be used in raid as well. He's a DPSer that's as well a cleanser, which kind of makes no sense, being that you don't want your DPS, or you want your cleanser to have really high resistance. So it's really hard to build somebody who's got a lot of resistance, but plus a lot of speed, plus some sort of survivability, plus some damage. So he's probably impossible to build, but
yeah, his rune requirements are also very, very high.
Yeah, but the third skill cleanses and attack buff for 3 turns. I mean, it's really good. And the first and second skill are just damage dealing skills. Could probably, because the first and second skill are multi-hits, plus he brings the attack power buff, he probably could be used in Necro, but I've never seen him used there. But pretty much any monster that comes with a first turn or first skill multi-hit, it can be used in Necro in some fashion. Him, pretty simple, speed, crit damage, attack, or speed, crit damage, and some sort of survivability stat with some attack in substats. Alright, next monster. We'll go over some actual relevant monsters. Some of the other ones are kind of like really niche. English, whatever. Thrain is one of those monsters, if you open him, will help you a lot with TOA hard. He just brings so much utility for TOA hard. The second skill is the same as Hemos, inflicts 2 continuous damage. I think it goes down every 4 turns or 3 turns when you skill him up. And then the third ability stuns everybody that's under a continuous damage. Obviously, when you're doing TOA hard, pretty much everything is going to have continuous damage except the bosses. So you're stunning it gives you a secondary stun with your Woonhak or Gildong, and then it gives you a bunch of dots. Also, he's really good, just like Hemos, on the stages where you don't want to hit them, the ones with the Yetis and the werewolves, the dark ones. So because the second skill doesn't actually hit them.
Yep. Yeah, he's good on every non-boss stage of TOA. Obviously, the boss stages, you're going to want to bring something like, like Basalt, or like something else that would be like a taunter, because taunt is one of the very few, like, inability. No, that's not the right word.
Crowd controls.
CCing the boss. You can't stun him. You can't
freeze him.
You can't freeze him. You can't do dots. So, like, Thrain kind of loses his usefulness on the boss stages, but every other stage of TOA, he's really, really good.
Yeah. I think I've talked about the Grim Reapers. I love most of the Grim Reapers as well.
Yeah.
So that's another monster. Like, if you're watching this video and you're early level, try to keep every Grim Reaper you have, because if you don't open Thrain, Hemos is useful, and Sath is useful as well. And Prom has some uses, but I'm not a big fan of Prom. Next, we'll talk about Zinc. For runes for Thrain, speed, and then as much sustainability as you can, either violent or swift. Is that how yours is built?
Violent, but I have him speed, hit point accuracy.
Yeah.
In the stages where you're taking Thrain, they're never gonna move. Like, you're taking Thrain to accelerate the time of the comp that you use in the TOA stages. They never move. Like, you just keep on Gildonging them, and they just never move. You just dot them to death. That's how the TOA hard stages work.
So the next one we'll talk about is Zinc. For me, Zinc is kind of in the same boat as Mantura. Double AoE, can be built the same way, Violent or Despair, up to you, as well as it's a defense-based damage dealer. Mantura is obviously a hit point, so you can build him either the way like Jim has him, where it's speed, defense, or you can build him the way like I would consider building him, defense, crit damage, defense. And so it's sort of the same stuff as Mantura. The third skill, it reduces attack power and blocks beneficial effects. It's the same thing like Mantura does, 2 different things. And then the second skill, defense breaks, and both these deal damage based on their defense. He brings a stun on the first one, and so all 3 of his abilities deal damage based on defense.
Yep.
So Zinc is a fantastic monster. I know you haven't opened them yet.
Yeah, I have not opened a Zinc yet.
I've opened them, but I need to get skill ups for him because Copper got all of the living armor skill ups. That was one thing. Like I said, I wish I would have known just to keep them in storage, all the living armor, so I can skill up this dumb guy. I'm close at least. Who's next? Mr. Woonhak. I have no idea. You know what's funny? I hate when they awaken. I love this version of the Taoist.
Yeah, I do
so
too.
much.
The hats are so stupid.
Yeah, I don't like the tats. I know it's some sort of traditional whatever it's supposed to be, but so we've been talking about Gildong for a while. Gildong, Spectra, they're a combo. You slow everybody, you stun them all with Gildong. Woonhak has the same second ability. AoE slows and stuns them if they're already slowed. The big difference is the third skill is a stun and a heal, but a stun, a heal, and a cleanse. Is it a cleanse? The problem with him, I don't think it remove the weakening. Yeah, problem with him is that skill is so random because it hits the guy with the stuns highest attack bar, so it's really random. For me, if I had the choice between Woonhak and Gildong, I'd always go with Gildong. I know Woonhak is not going to have the ability to get to glance, but if you look at the stats, Gildong has 4-star stats. So I would go with Gildong. But if you don't have Gildong, Woonhak is a great replacement. I would build him either Violent or... When I say Violent or Swift, it's based on where you are in the game. If you have the ability to make a monster violent with decent speed, then you put him on Violent. If you don't have the ability, then you can just go with Swift, and it will do most of the time the same difference. Which one? You use Gildong, right?
Yeah, I use Gildong. I have mine Violent Focus, Speed, Hit Point Accuracy. That's pretty much what you want.
Yeah. You want him to have about 50 to 60 accuracy for TOA. Speed, hit point. Speed, and survivability stats. That's pretty much all that matters. The next one is the trigger for me.
What are you talking about? This mon's great. I love this mon.
Oh, he's so good, but he's so not opened by me yet. I've been playing this game for whatever it's been, a year and 7 months or so. Still haven't opened a Basalt. I'm literally at the stage of the game where I'm considering building a Talk because I haven't opened Basalt and I need somebody that does vaguely what he does, the heal defense buff and the taunt in the first skill. Basalt is one of the most perfect monsters I think they've created in the game because his skill set is just so beautiful. Why don't you talk about him since you have him?
Well, yeah, of course. Basalt is amazing. He literally does everything he does is perfect. His kit is all based on his defense as well as max HP. So you want to build him as a tanky mon, but you also want to build him speedy because he's a healer. So speed, hit point, defense, speed, defense, crit damage, defense, any one of those builds, and he will be one of the best units in your box, not even close. Mm-hmm. In TOA, he's great. Like I said, that 5th unit that you want to do, multiple things and do them well, or just one thing the best that they can, Basalt does that. If you have Thrain Basalt, you take Thrain on all the non-boss stage, you put Basalt in on the boss stage, and you're just going to wreck the boss because he brings attack bar decrease, he brings a taunt, which is obviously insane for bosses, as well as the defense buff plus heal for the second skill is just absurd in TOA. Like, if you're running into a boss, the boss is going to move, the boss is going to hit you, but you have a defense buff on, so you just shake it off, build back up, you stun the guys again, you dot him again, and then he everything he does is perfect.
The other thing about Basalt that I think is very important is he's good early game, he's good mid game, he's good late game.
Yeah, Basalt was part of my first Dragons B10 team.
Yeah. And he can easily have been.
He was really good.
I don't know when you opened it, but he easily could have been part of your first Giants team as well.
Yeah, he was after Giants, but
so there you go. But that's the thing. If you open him, he could be your +1 for Giants, that 5th monster, and he can even take the place of, like, if you instead of having Shannon and somebody, you can have Basalt and somebody, and kind of do sort of the same thing. I'm gonna open him one day. I literally have I think I have 25 or 30 mammoths ready one day. The last monster we'll go over in the dark section is Croa. Croa is I really enjoy all the Hargs. They're a little terrifying, just a little bit small, but terrifying. Croa is one of those monsters. Like I feel like he can take the place. Like if you wanted your Giants team to not say you're like I really don't want to build a Shannon, but you have Basalt and Croa. Those two can take the 4th and 5th slot because they bring most of the same things. You're bringing the slow, you're bringing attack decrease, plus you're bringing you don't need like you can bring Bernard, but you don't need to because he gives you the attack speed plus the plus like a heal over time. He's just such a good monster. I opened him too late to where it's like I have uses for him. If I open him early, he's another one. He's a good monster for Giants. He can easily be used for Dragons due to the constant healing plus the attack speed. In Dragons, you just want to go faster than your opponent. That's the most important thing. When my wife was playing, her first Dragons team had Croa on it because it gives you your entire team is healing, plus you can slow the dragon. I know he's going to cleanse it off, but that first turn, really when you're setting up, I feel like is the most important for Dragons. So great monster, easy skill ups. Obviously that goes with all the 3-star monsters. Violent or Swift, and like I said, pretty much can be used in any kind of area where you're on auto. I think speed and then sustainability stats, so hit point and defense. So that's going to do it for the 3-star monsters. We've gone through me and Jim went through light and dark, and I went through the other 3. The next few videos, we're going to do one for each of the other elements one for all the elements for the 4-star monsters. If you do have any opinions, comments, make sure to post them below. We always respond, or one of us will respond to them. There are some monsters that we skipped over just because maybe we haven't used them or the mainstream hasn't used them, but every monster is usable in some fashion. So I think that anything we need to add here?
No, I'm like I said, the only way that you guys are going to be able to interact with us, is through the comment section here. So we obviously would appreciate any kind of feedback. If we can do something better, or and again, even you just commenting might lead to a conversation that like somebody wants to be a part of in order to get them more interested in the game, more interested in the channel, give us an idea for another video that you may be interested in, things like that. We're only going to grow as much as you guys allow us to, so we appreciate any kind of help in that.
Yep, and we'll be streaming a little bit more. I streamed the other night for about 2.5 hours, and it was a really enjoyable experience. So I'm going to try to stream a little bit more and kind of get some interaction with some people. So thanks again. This is Jesse from Baited.
And this is Jim.
You guys have a good one.